Is there anything within Statesboro fashion that could go the reverse way, you think? The oversized T-shirts. That's our jam, ain't it?
That's our jam, and I think all of that comes from the college.
Okay.
I mean, our college market, I think, kind of drives all of our fashion.
That's funny. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, where you get to know a little bit more about people, passions, and all things business. Today, I'm sitting across the way from Miss Anna Freeman.
Hello, Adam.
Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm great. So excited to be here.
I am super excited for you to be here as well. You are an absolute sweetheart in Statesboro, Georgia. And you've recently you do a bunch of dancing, for those that don't know. Mm-hmm. And then now you've kind of like entered into this entrepreneurial space.
Yes.
Initially as a online store, but now you have a brick and mortar, which is super exciting.
So exciting.
A boutique, to say the least. So we're so excited to kind of like dig into that.
Yeah.
But super happy for you to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm super excited. You allowed me to jump on today.
Fantastic. So I have to ask, was the boutique something that you always had in your mind? Was that something that you always had an interest in?
Absolutely. So I can remember as a little girl always wanting to go shopping. Fashion was always something I loved and I enjoyed, and I always felt like I was able to express myself and be creative through my outfits every day. And then that kind of, followed me throughout my childhood. And then when I started college, I always kind of knew that I wanted to be my own boss and have my own business, and was always super interested in the boutique industry. So whenever I was a senior in college, I said, you know what, if this is something I think I want to do, let me go ahead and get started. So I launched an online store as a senior at Georgia Southern. It was awesome because I had a lot of friends in my sorority. I was a KD, so I had that automatic following of girls my age that were so supportive from the beginning. And my mindset with starting my online store during college was, let me see if this is something I like. Let me see if this is something that I think would be a potential career. And start small and see how it goes. And it definitely grew from there, and now has landed a storefront here in Statesboro. So it's been a super awesome journey and a learning experience definitely along the way, and something I'm still learning it now.
Sure. What was the point that you in your mind said that, hey, I want to launch the online store? Can you walk me through that? Because I think, the audience themselves, maybe a lot of them are interested in entrepreneurship. They want to own their own business because it's kind of has that appeal.
Right.
What made that jump for you?
I've always kind of had the mindset of you don't know until you try.
Okay.
And I have always been pretty fearless in anything, kind of like, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I tried. And I remember researching and talking to my parents, and my dad's been an entrepreneur his entire life.
He has. So it's in your blood.
Yes.
What does he do?
So my dad has had rental properties. He has some storage facilities. He actually has an amusement company.
Wow.
Many different things. And so from a very young age, he's kind of instilled in me that work ethic and all of that goes into having your own business. So I knew what it would take to, start my own business. But I just said, you know what? This is something I've been interested in so long. I'm going to give it a go, and here it goes.
I think that's so funny because, for me, my family was also very deep in the restaurant industry. And I saw kind of like the hard work that they put in, but I also saw the rewards that they got from that.
Absolutely.
And that kind of like, just kind of like entices you, right?
Yes.
Because like, growing up in it, seeing, the hustle, if you will, it's just very alluring. So for you, kind of, when you've kind of like made this decision, to step into a boutique or like clothing and or fashion.
Yeah.
How challenging is that in an industry that is that kind of competitive, right? Because like boutiques are like everywhere.
They
are.
They are.
Right? Like and what kind of like is your approach to stand out?
So my number one thing it started in my online store and now in my storefront is customer service. People are going to walk in your store. They're not going to remember the name brand that was on the shirt. They're not going to remember what color options you had. They're going to remember how you made them feel.
Love that.
And I think the number one way to be successful in this is customer service.
Love that.
To be kind, to show somebody your heart and that they're welcome here, no matter if they, spend $500 or they don't buy anything.
Yeah.
You want them to come back and to show just a little bit of your passion and why you're doing what you're doing. Customer service is number one. And for me, like you said, it is hard because there are so many boutiques and so many boutiques are selling the same clothes and the same styles. But with my online store, something that really set me apart is I offered local delivery. So I constantly was running around town dropping things off in girls' mailboxes or at their school or to a college girl's house on Thursday night when her dress for the date night didn't fit and she needs something else. So that was something that really set me apart with my online store, and I am planning to continue that in the fall once my storefront is completely operating, seamlessly.
Did you see a lot of business from that?
I did, and I actually had a friend come in the store last week, and she said, "Anna, I feel terrible. I haven't been in the store this summer." I said, "Girl, it's summertime. It's busy. I get it." She said, "I will say, I do miss you just dropping stuff in my mailbox." And so, she was like, "You made it too easy on me. Shopping was so easy." So I think offering your customers, for my store, what sets me apart is my customers know that I will go above and beyond. Whatever they need, shoot me a text.
Sure.
Send me a DM. I'm not going to make you, fill out this formal invoice. Call me. We'll get it done over the phone. I'll have it delivered to your porch the next morning if you need it.
Yeah.
So that customer service is what's most important for me.
So right now, as the company stands, are you still kind of you personally are going to each mailbox and putting the clothes in there and getting them there?
Yes, I and like I said, I haven't done quite as much local delivery since I've had the storefront.
Got you.
But that still is an option, as well as in-store pickup. And being a new business owner, any business owner, you're the face of your company.
Yes.
So for me, it's been very important that I be in the store, that I'm there, whoever walks in, that I'm able to say, "Hey, I'm Anna, I'm the new store owner. Welcome. What can I help you with today?" Making that personal connection with each person who walks through the door.
Love that. How about, when you first, this is all very new, right?
Yes.
When did this happen? A month?
June 1st, yeah.
June 1st has been the month.
Yes.
When you, started getting in there, started running things, was it everything you dreamed of? What were the things that you didn't expect, right? How was that kind of transition?
Oh, yeah. So I feel like I definitely was kind of in a fog there for a few weeks, being anxious, being excited. But I think 2 weeks after I had the store, I was talking to my mom one morning on the way up there, and I said, "This is my dream job. This is what I've always wanted to do, and I'm so happy I said I'm doing it." And I feel like going into having the store, there was so much I didn't know. There was so much I was unsure of.
Such as?
Legal things.
Yeah.
Tax things. Just so many things that I can pick out the clothes now.
Sure.
I've got that covered.
Okay.
I can get the customers in the store, but some of the business aspects, I was a business major at Georgia Southern, and even that doesn't quite prepare you for doing something like this. So something I've told many people is don't be afraid to ask for help. There definitely were times where I'm like, gosh, I feel like I should probably know this, but I don't. And, I've had people on speed dial blowing up people's phones asking questions. And this community is so helpful. Everybody wants to help and wants to see us young people be successful. And so not being afraid to ask for help was something that was a little struggle for me. But now I'm like, ask and you will receive when it comes to some of that stuff.
Love that. So to kind of walk me through this, some of the listeners are listening through podcast form. So paint me a picture, if you will.
Yeah.
What does the store feel like when you walk through it?
So time you walk in the store, It's very, very bright. Lots of color, which of course it's summertime. So it's very colorful and bright, lots of pattern. I am such a bubbly, high energy kind of person, and I think that is very well known throughout the store because of the style of clothing in there. I am a huge fan of smell, so I have a candle burning every day. It feels nice and warm when you walk in the store. I think it's very welcoming, and if you walk in my store and don't automatically feel happy, then I think something's wrong.
Got you.
Yep.
Got you. You talk a lot about emotion, right? When after somebody interacts with Dish and Lily, what type of emotion do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel happy. I want them to feel confident. I want them to feel like maybe they have purchased an outfit from the store that they feel their best self in, that they feel like they can put that outfit on in the morning and conquer their day.
Love that. Let's change directions a little bit. Where do the clothes come from? Do you make them in-house? Like, how does that work?
No. I wish. So I have many vendors I purchase through, and that definitely is kind of a trial and error experience in its own with kind of making those connections with vendors. And that was one perk of having the online store. I already had established some relationships with brands I like.
I love that.
With quality of clothing. You know, there were certain brands that I had ordered from and going, oh, this is not the best quality. I won't order from them again. And I'm so glad that I already had that established, because now with the storefront, obviously I have a lot more volume I have to order. And so kind of knowing what I'm ordering, what I'm putting in my store has been super helpful. The big mart in Atlanta, the apparel mart, I definitely go to.
What is that like?
Totally overwhelming, but so much fun. I remember the very first time I went, it was right before I was planning to launch my online store. It was kind of a field trip. I went to scope it out, and I was like, I think if I can go to the mart and check it out, then I can make my decision of, do I want to start my online store? And I was completely overwhelmed. I mean, oh my gosh.
What does it look like there? Is it like stories?
Oh my gosh, it's like 15 floors of just, I mean, you stand on the elevator and it's just like a complete rounded 15 floor monstrous building. I mean, and it's vendor after vendor after vendor
and
after
everybody's
vendor.
Just trying to sell.
And all these buyers are there, just the hustle and the bustle, and they're pushing bar carts around, feeding you mimosas and giving you breakfast sandwiches and chocolate bars and everything. I mean, it's a very fun and high energy place, but very overwhelming. So it's definitely taken many trips for me to kind of get my groove, have my map of where I need to go. So
that is where all your selection is,
yes.
Like in terms of like, you know, the fashion.
Yes.
How are you kind of like procuring that? So I did hear in there that, you know, one of the steps that you take is like, obviously you care about quality.
Yes.
And so you're saying that, hey, like this, like you order something and it's like, hey, this is good, this is bad. You're making determination there. What else? I mean, how do you identify like trendy things? How are you able to pinpoint like, hey, this is the direction that fashion is moving in? Because as a boutique, that's your responsibility, right?
Absolutely. So, of course, being on my personal social media, keeping up with, you know, celebrities and all of that, kind of what styles they're going through, I feel like always gives an insight of what we're headed to. However, Statesboro is always behind.
Is it?
It is.
How much time behind would you say?
I mean, I would say a year or so. I was in the bridal industry before I had my brick and mortar store, and our reps would come with wedding dress samples, and we would always be like, come back in 2 years with that sample and then we can sell it.
Wow.
Because we're just always behind here in Statesboro. So, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I think it's a great thing, actually, because you're able to see the trends before they happen on a local level.
Right. And then you're able to be prepared. I'm able to kind of say, okay, you know, I think we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. So kind of have it like in the back of your mind. And then whenever it hits, you're ready to go. Yep.
Is there anything within Statesboro fashion that could go the reverse way, you think?
You know,
the oversized T-shirts. That's our jam, ain't it?
That's our jam, and I think all of that comes from the college.
Okay.
I mean, our college market, I think, kind of drives all of our fashion.
That's funny.
And I was in college, gosh, a couple years ago, and you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a college girl can put on anything she wants and it's style,
Got you.
So
Got you.
that
The confidence.
definitely, yes, that definitely is a big market, our college here.
Yeah. Let's change directions a little bit. So, I heard in there a little bit about, the different maybe other things that you've done along the way to prepare you for this. What I think is super interesting is that a lot of times entrepreneurs get stuck in this is what I want, and they don't take the necessary steps to get there. And what you just told me was, you said, okay, let's just go ahead and open an online store for right now. Let's test the waters.
That's what I did. I was testing the waters for sure.
Exactly. You went out, made your contacts with the vendors, as opposed to, going with because a business is not a small investment, right? You have like the lease, you have like the interior, like all these design options. But instead of waiting for that moment to make those contacts with the vendors, you already had that done, which is a great strategy behind it. What other things have prepared you for this moment?
So I grew up in Statesboro. I went to high school and college here, and throughout high school, throughout college, I was very involved in many different organizations. I danced for Georgia Southern. I was in a sorority, and I did a lot of community events. That's actually, I think, how we met.
That's right.
Gosh,
that's right.
Years ago.
Dancing with the Statesboro Stars.
Yes.
And she is absolutely the biggest star that we have.
Oh, gosh, no. But I think being involved in so many different aspects of the community, of my life and different stages, has really helped prepare me to be a business owner in Statesboro. This community is so supportive, and everybody is there to help. And I think I wouldn't be able to have a successful business, especially this early on, if it weren't for having the connections that I've made. And that, for me, I think a lot of that started at a younger age, and I would tell any person finishing high school, in college, young adult, freshly out of college, start now. Don't wait until you're 35 and a business owner to try to plug in your community. Start now. Start young. Make those connections. Put yourself out there. Challenge yourself. Make yourself uncomfortable. A lot of things that I did, like dancing with the Statesboro Stars. I was the youngest one of the group, and I look back, and so many amazing people I met through that journey have been very influential in my life now. And, that wasn't totally a comfortable situation right off the bat, knowing I'm like the youngest one of the group.
Sure.
But I learned so much and have had so much support from so many events like that over the years.
The community.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. How about, how much influence have your parents had with this decision that you've made?
So that's kind of funny because I'm getting married in December, so that's
congratulations.
Thank you.
It's going to be a party.
Yes. Adam's catering our bar for us. We're excited.
Love it.
But so I'm getting married in December, and this decision was really kind of on me and my fiance. This is our new life coming up. But like I said, my dad has been an entrepreneur his entire life, and I've never made a decision, whether it was how much money to put in my savings account or whatever, without consulting my dad.
Sure.
So it was kind of hard because me and my dad sat down many, many nights at the kitchen table, trying to discuss this. And he was like, Anna, this is up to you. I'm not going to tell you whether it's a good idea or it's not a good idea. He said, because I've rented houses my whole life. I've not sold shirts.
Sure,
I don't quite know how that's going to go. But he has guided me my entire life to where he knew I would make the right decision.
I love that.
He very much kind of put it in my lap and was like, I'm here to help in any way I can, but this is for you to decide. And then,
how difficult was
that
that decision?
Oh my gosh, it was very hard. On the other hand, my fiance, Wynn, was all game. I mean, he was like, this is what you want to do. Let's do it. You've got what it takes. Like, he was just 100% so supportive and excited, which has been so helpful. And then my dad, on the other hand, is like, now you crunch the numbers and you figure it out, you know. So it was a hard decision to make, but I'll say once I made the decision, I said, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to work my booty off until I am successful.
That's right.
So, and I think that's the mindset you have to have in anything in life, but especially in owning your own business. It's not easy. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take some sleepless nights and some headaches and some days where you're going, oh gosh, am I going to make it? But it's so worth it.
How were you able to get to that? Because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, right? Like, having the confidence to say, like, hey, this is what I want to do. Because, this is actually a conversation that I have a lot of times with, during interviews or, during when I'm meeting someone for the first time. It's like, I've found what's made me passionate. And you have found what's made you passionate. Yep. But it's so difficult to come across that at such an early age, right? It's a blessing, to be honest. But, how do you think that you were able to get there so quickly?
I think it starts when I was young. Like we've mentioned, I danced my whole life. So I have always had goals I set, whether it be to place this at the national dance competition, or I competed at Miss Georgia for years. So whether it was to make the top 15 or whatever it was, I have always been the kind of person who I set a goal and I work as hard as I can until I reach that goal. And I think that's where the confidence in starting a business came from, is I know that hard work, ends in reward. And so I never was... Of course, there were days where I was like, oh, my goodness, this is a big decision. I don't know if it's going to work. But I also know that if I'm 100% passionate about what I'm doing and if I'm willing to put in the work, I can do it. If anybody can do it, I can do it. And I've done a lot of research, with the boutique industry. I have friends who have successful storefronts who I have consulted with. I've asked them, what's the hard parts of owning a store? What's the easier parts? And so anything like owning a business, you can't just go into blind. You've got to do your research. You need to know what it takes to make it happen. And you can do it. I mean, have confidence in yourself. Surround yourself with a good team, with people who believe in you and are there to help pick you up when maybe you do fall a little bit. It's so important. And, people like us, I don't think you ever 100% think you're ready, or you don't ever 100% think all of your ducks are in a perfect row. But, go for it. Give it your best shot and be prepared to work hard, and you can do it.
You mentioned two things in there that I wanted to kind of talk about. So obviously you have kind of the dancing that has been a big influence. Also Miss Georgia that has been an influence. Does that kind of reflect in the store at all? Or do you think
100%?
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay. And in what ways?
So, I think the style of the store, competing in Miss Georgia for years, I always was very conscious of you look the part. You put your best foot forward every day. You never know who's watching. You never know, when somebody's going to stop you and say, hey, hop on this, collar, this pink shirt, whatever it may be. And so I think that directly relates into the style of clothing in my store. It's very fashionable and it's exciting and it's fun, but it's very polished and tailored.
Love that.
And you're going to look your best and feel your best in anything you find in my store. Also, on the other hand, I danced my whole life. So, bright colors, frills, sparkles. I mean, that's what I've always been into. And so every now and then I'll buy something. I'm like, gosh, no wonder I like this. It looks like a dance costume, So I think it all kind of, directly relates in the fashion world for me.
Love that. What does your closet look like?
Oh, gosh. Well, right now it's a complete disaster.
Is it?
Yes, it's bad. But, it's a mix. I've still got... my old Georgia Southern dance costumes in there. I've got some Miss George dresses in there. I've got lots of clothes. I've got the hardest part about being a boutique owner for me is not keeping everything for yourself. But on the other hand, I'm like, I am my brand. And, when people stop me and say, I love your outfit, where's it from? Then that's my chance to market my business. So
absolutely.
That's definitely been a little hard, not keeping everything for myself, because I've got to have clothes to sell in the store. But this, for example, I had to wear something I pulled out the box yesterday at the store to be on the podcast. So.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's talk a little bit about kind of the future
Mm-hmm.
or what you imagine the future being of your organization or of your company?
So I hope that Dish and Lily will be around for many, many, many years. I have a little sister who is 12 years younger than I am, and her name is Lily Grace. She is the Lily of Dish and Lily. And this is a store that I hope will dress her, throughout high school, throughout college, throughout her young adult years. And I hope it's something, which it has been something, but, I hope and pray that this store is something that her and I can share together for years and years to come. I want Dish and Lily to always be that store that anybody who walks in knows they're going to feel welcome. They're going to feel loved. They're going to feel like they can ask for help, that they will receive help, whoever's in there working, whether it's me or one of my girls. And also, I've already made steps to have Dish and Lily in this direction, but I want any person who steps in the store to be able to find something they can wear. Whether it be a freshman, moving into her dorm, cute little outfit for Thursday night, or whether it's a older woman looking for something to wear to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I want something for any person who steps in the store to find something they love and they feel good in.
Love that. Anna, thank you so much for coming to the show. How do people keep in touch? What's the URL handles? Where do they find you? So forth and so on.
So website is www.dishandlily.com. Instagram is Dish and Lily Statesboro. And
address? Where do we go for that?
We're 721 South Main Street, Suite 5, right across from campus here in Statesboro by Jersey Mike's. I've eaten a lot of sandwiches, so y'all go see them too. But I think that's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Facebook, Dish and Lily.
Fantastic.
Yep.
TikTok?
We're working on the TikTok. I did start my TikTok the other night.
I know
you've been asking about it. But that's, one thing I got to keep working at is my social media. I mean, I feel like you can always grow in the social media world, but I got to get on the TikTok. I just kind of miss the TikTok phase,
That's okay. It's still here.
Got to get on it. Got to get on it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.